You had a nice winning streak together. Saw you in March. Things didn't go your way. Just give me kind of your opinion on that fight, how you felt about it, kind of what you took out of it.
I could break it down, and there are some things that I could break down and that I would change. I would have been more aggressive, not giving him so much respect. He saw a pattern. I was switching stances without striking after. I saw he did the same. He found the same pattern in Brandon Thatch. He caught Brandon Thatch while he was switching stances. Saw the same pattern in my fight. Caught me. It's an MMA fight. You get caught, you get stunned. He did a great job of capitalizing with the choke because I feel like he kind of stunned me when I wasn't ready, but I would have recovered right away. If he would have tried to ground and pound me, 2 seconds later I would have been grabbing him in guard. But he did a great job of capitalizing while I was hurt to sink in that choke while I didn't really have any idea of what was happening. So he did a great job. I would have been more aggressive, but it's a fight, man, and you win some and you lose some. I definitely learned from it, but I didn't dwell on it too much. You know what I mean? It didn't make me too down. He's a tough guy to fight. A lot of guys that want to fight him. I jumped at the opportunity, and so I'm just eager to kind of prove myself again at this fight.
Nice. So you get the offer of Niko Price. I wonder kind of what your initial reaction is, because tough guy, right? I mean, the guy has shown some potential, but a name that a lot of people might not know yet. So what was your thought process when this was the opponent that was given? That's
it. You're right. The word on him is he's a tough guy. He's undefeated. He's beaten some tough guys, Brandon Thatch and Moreno, in his 2 fights. Both of them finishes, but he's not really a name. The UFC fans don't really know him. So is it worth it to me? My opinion was, it doesn't really matter in the UFC that much. Unless you're in the top 5 or 10, if you're on a 3-fight win streak, guys aren't really going back and saying, but who did he fight? They're saying he's on a 3-fight win streak. What's the momentum like? And also, it's not only if you're winning fights, but it's how you're doing it. You know that if I go out here and I caught real quick knockout this guy and I get on SportsCenter the next day, that does just as much as if I had a boring fight or a great fight against the top 5, top 10 guys. So that's my plan in this fight. I want to come out. I kind of got that Alan Jouban of old, Alan Jouban UFC debut, that fire in me, where I want to go out there and put on a performance for the Mexican fans. I know being here in Mexico, they love that tradition of the 2 guys that'll slug it out. I don't plan on taking a punch of punches, but I plan on giving a bunch of punches. So
I was going to say, I mean, when you break them down on paper, this does look like it could be very much a fight of the night type fight, right? With the way you 2 guys bring it, and being in Mexico, knowing that they love a good brawl. I mean, I know you don't want to get hit, but are you going in there thinking, I better be ready for a war?
I'll say this: I am ready for a war. I'm ready for the altitude. The Alan Jouban of old was always ready for a war. The polished Alan Jouban that was on that 3-fight win streak was a guy that was very defensive and smart and calculated with his striking. Getting the job done, not taking a lot of damage. Fights weren't always as exciting. I've kind of found a happy medium in this fight where I'm going to be smart and calculated, but when I want to pull the trigger, I'm going to pull the trigger, and so look for that in this fight.
Nice. You talk about being ready for the altitude. I was a little surprised to see you in Anaheim at UFC 214. Yeah. So you didn't come out that much early, right? So what did you do to get ready for the altitude?
Well, the thing is about fighting at altitude, from the research I've done, unless you're going to come 2-3 weeks early, you can't really acclimate in time. Coming 3 days early wouldn't have benefited me. I would have had to come a month early. I wasn't willing to do that with my family and my obligations, so I took the initiative. I got an altitude tent. I've slept in an altitude tent for the last month. I've gone up to Big Bear on the weekends to test my cardio. My cardio felt strong, so I got here at the normal time with my team. I felt that I did all the preparations that I could, aside from coming here a month early. So I feel confident in what's going to happen Saturday.
The time that you've been here, looks like you're enjoying it. I saw you went out to the pyramids, that sort of thing. Have you been soaking it in? Is that something you like to do on fight week to kind of distract yourself a little?
Man, me and my team, John, we are good at going out. 4 guys. We all have kids. We all have wives. We all have families. But we leave them at home. We come out here and we go and just explore, man. We cover 8 miles a day and do everything. And Mexico City's proven to be one of those places that you can do it. It's a nice area that we're in. It's very a good place to go walk around and eat and see things. And yeah, we've been doing that, man. We've been soaking it in. I've kind of learned too. This is my 10th fight in the UFC. 21st professional, and probably altogether, 35th or something. So what I'm getting at is, I'm at that point in my career where I feel comfortable now in fight week. I'm embracing it. I used to be very nervous all week and stress myself out when I didn't need to be. Now I know how to enjoy the journey, prepare when it's time, focus when it's time to train, enjoy myself when it's not time to train, and flip the switch come fight night. So I've been enjoying myself, and I plan on flipping the switch come Saturday.
Nice. Well, as you said, you're kind of the established veteran taking on the newcomer. Where do you see yourself with a big win here? You know, is it time to start contending? Is it time to start worrying about rankings? Is that it, or is it more just about, you know, fun and the journey and the fights? Where do you see yourself going?
I've never been a journeyman. You know, I've always had a goal. I've always had a purpose in anything I do in life. I always give myself a goal, and that doesn't change with fighting. In the UFC, my goal is to work my way up the rankings. But to answer your question, it's kind of yes and no. The last fight, I stressed myself out on too much of where am I in the rankings? I need to fight a top guy, this and that. And it kind of threw my game off. I was too cautious, too hesitant. Going into this fight, I don't have those worries. I'm just here to knock somebody out, put on a performance with Mexican fans, and get the UFC fans behind me again, letting them know that's that same exciting fighter that you never want to walk away when he's fighting. That's my goal, and I think that alone will give me the momentum to be back where I was, that guy that's knocking on the door at the top 15, or my next fight being a top 15, top 10 guy.